Good morning, here is the news at 10. First, the highlights. Legacy Government distributes nutritional food packs to over 100 indigent women. Nigerian Immigration Service plans to strengthen border security with new technological innovations. On the foreign, Japanese government urges residents to evacuate city over heavy rainfall. And in sports, Super Eagles Team B regroup ahead clash against Ghana in preparation for 2025 African Nations Championship qualifying fixture. And now the details. I am Mike J. To enable healthy living, the Lagos State Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation (WAPA) has distributed nutritional food packs to 120 indigent women within the Lagos Island local government area. In her keynote address, Commissioner for WAPA, Bolaji Dada, explained that the distribution of the packs is part of the ministry's food and nutrition program for women tagged Onje L'Oreal and should not be mistaken for palliatives. Dada noted that food provides the body with the necessary nutrients to function correctly, and without an adequate diet, people become more susceptible to illness and diseases. Hence, the need to engage women as influencers of family menus and nutritional palette of their various households. In a goodwill message, Chairman House Committee on Women Affairs and Job Creation, Omo Lara Olumegbo, who commended the ministry for bringing the initiative to the Lagos Island Division, called for the capturing of more residents of the division in all of its programs and policies. Earlier, nutritionist and food expert Shola Malomo charged beneficiaries to be conscious of what goes into their bodies while also imbibing food hygiene and right food proportion, among other healthy eating habits that promote healthy living. Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, has presented official vehicles to staff of the Assembly in the directorship. KIDA. The presentation of the cars is the second in a row, coming a few weeks after some senior staff were handed the keys to their own cars as part of efforts of the leadership of the House to bolster productivity and service delivery to the legislative arm of the state. The beneficiaries include directors and deputy directors across the various departments and units that make up the Assembly. Speaking of the presentation, Obasa said the occasion marked an important landmark in the determination to ensure effectiveness, encourage productivity and hard work, and support the need to have a conducive work environment for the staff. The Speaker noted that the Lagos State House of Assembly has become a yardstick for measuring legislative prowess and excellence, due largely to the result-oriented focus of the staff and management. In his response, Clerk of the House, Olaliko Onofeko, commended the positive outlook and welfare-oriented posture of the leadership of the Assembly, headed by the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa. Onofeko, who doubles as head of service of the Assembly, and said the vehicle would enhance productivity and encourage passion and commitment among the staff. Members of the House of Representatives Committee on Ecology Fund have visited Lagos for a first-hand experience of some erosion-prone areas to ensure that all appropriated funds are properly applied. The team, led by the Vice Chairman of the committee, Oyedeji Oyeshino, were received by the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab. Addressing newsmen after the tour, Oyeshino said the team was in Lagos just as it has gone round some other state in the geopolitical zone to finding a lasting solution to erosion challenges in the state. Oyeshino explained that the federal government had decided to pause on the use of the ecological funds in order to allow the committee to conduct a holistic assessment and advise federal government on the subsequent disbursement of the funds to states appropriately. He stressed that part of the mandate of the committee is to ensure that all communities affected by erosion and other ecological issues are adequately catered for when the funds are allocated. Earlier in his welcome address, the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, expressed optimism that residents of the erosion-prone areas in the state would have cause to enjoy the benefit of the funds. Wahab emphasized that it is very essential for the federal and state government to collaborate in ensuring a sustainable development for all parts and providing a quality living environment for all residents. Bayelsa State Governor Doyi Diri has called on other governors in the Niger Delta to support efforts in addressing the environmental challenges of the region. Diri made the appeal at the International Conference on Petroleum Pollution in the Niger Delta held in Abuja. Diri said conversations and actions to improve the environment of the Niger Delta had become imperative as the people continue to suffer the effects of environmental degradation caused by the activities of the oil companies operating in the region. He described the report as a catalogue of the tragic situation faced by the people of the state and called for urgent action to preserve lives. According to him, the report not only captured the plight of inhabitants of Bayelsa, but that it also amplified their cry for decades, stressing that the future of children of the state and the region, burn and unburn, hung in the balance. Diri also stated that environmental pollution was no longer just an ecological disaster, but a human rights challenge and humanitarian crisis, expressing worry that despite the magnitude of the issues, the international oil companies always deflected blame for environmental disasters, claiming sabotage rather than acknowledging their faults. And now to the rest of the stories. The Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS) has revealed plans to strengthen border security and immigration management in the country with new technological innovations. NIS also stated that it has promoted a total of 13,977 officers since January in renewed efforts to enhance its operations. Controller General of the NIS, Kemi Nandap, made all these known while speaking in Jos, Plateau State, at the 2024 Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Immigration Service. Nandap noted that the service recognizes the complexities of securing the country's 4,047 kilometers borders, but collective resilience and dedication have yielded significant progress. Also speaking, Plateau State Governor Caleb Muthwang expressed concerns that the state has faced border-related challenges with individuals from neighboring countries sometimes entering without proper checks. The Executive Council of the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) has awarded the sum of 9.8 billion naira for the rehabilitation of existing link roads and other facilities at the presidential wing of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. The council gave the approval following the 9th Executive Council meeting held at the FCT Secretariat in Abuja. Executive Secretary of the Federal Capital Development Authority, Shehu Hamad, who briefed the press after the meeting, explained that the contract was awarded with a completion deadline of 6 months. Hamad, who noted that the contractor had previously been responsible for managing the facility, added that the contract would cover the rehabilitation of the link road, the access road to the presidential kitchen, the hangar housing, the presidential aircraft, and the holding center for visiting presidents. The National Center for Control of Small Arms and Weapons has opposed the proposed bill that will allow Nigerians to bear arms for self-defense, insisting that Nigeria is not ripe for arms bearing. The bill, which was sponsored by lawmaker representing Delta North Senatorial District Ned Nwoko, said the bill aims to empower Nigerians to bear arms in self-defense against criminals. Nwoko argued that allowing Nigerians to carry arms will be a deterrent to criminals, potentially addressing the country's worsening security situation. Meanwhile, a former director of the Department of State Services, Ben Akinade, said legalizing arms for civilians could escalate violence rather than curb it. Akinade insisted that arms bearing was not a solution to Nigeria's security woes. And in some foreign news, nearly 200,000 people in western Japan were urged to evacuate as authorities warned of landslides and floods while the remnants of a tropical storm trickle over the country. The Japan Meteorological Agency said warm, moist air is causing heavy rainfall with thunderstorms in western Japan, partly due to Kongray, which was downgraded to an extratropical low-pressure system from the typhoon. The city of Matsuyama issued the top-level warning, urging 189,552 residents in its 10 districts to evacuate and immediately secure safety. While the evacuation was not mandatory, Japan's highest level warning is typically issued when it is extremely likely that some kind of disaster has already occurred. And finally, sports news. Super Eagles B players are expected to regroup next week to continue their preparation for the 2025 African Nations Championship qualifying two-legged fixture against Ghana scheduled for December. The players showed flashes of brilliance during the two-day exercise, drawing encomiums from Super Eagles interim coach and technical director of Nigeria Football Federation, Augustine Egwavon, who said he was impressed with what he had seen of the players so far. Ghana will host Nigeria in the first leg between 20th to 22nd of December, while the second leg holds in Nigeria a week later. The winner of the two legs will automatically qualify for the 2025 CHAN, which will be co-hosted by Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda. And that was our news at 10, but just before we go, always carry out proper and adequate checks on your vehicles before setting out. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. And you can also visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration supplied 86,012 furniture sets to 775 public schools? Well, you can get more details. It's on the Legacy Government website. And to end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. To enable healthy living, the Lagos State Ministry for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, WAPA, has distributed nutritional food packs to 120 indigent women within the Lagos Island local government areas. The Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS) has revealed plans to strengthen border security and migration management in the country with new technological innovations. We also told you that nearly 200,000 people in Western Japan were urged to evacuate as authorities warn of landslides and floods while the remnants of a tropical storm trickle over the country. In sports, Super Eagles B players are expected to regroup next week to continue their preparation for the 2025 African Nations Championship qualifying two-legged fixture against Ghana, scheduled for December. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast. It was compiled by Zainab Adebeshi. Thank you for listening, Lagos. Good morning. My name is Mike James.